Hello, welcome to Insure Africa's YouTube channel. We have prepared yet another video to discuss with you issues which we think are important for you as a motorist. Do you love going for road trips? Have you ever imagined what would happen if you're involved in an accident during a road trip, somewhere in the middle of nowhere? Let's say you're going down Mombasa and then somewhere in Manyani, suddenly you hit a zebra or something like that. Those strange things. Now, today we want to look at the things you can do to make sure you are safe in case you get involved in an accident in the course of a road trip, an accident that results in damage to your car. So in this clip today, we look at some of the inspections you need to carry out on your car before you move it from the place that you are so that you're able to move safely with the car. Now, some of the things you will need to check are the fluids of the car. On this, the first thing you need to check is, are there any leaks coming from the bottom of the car? If you find that your radiator is leaking, do not move your car. A leaking radiator is a no-no, wait for help. This is because radiators are important for cooling down the engine, and if the radiator is leaking, it means there's no coolant on the engine. So that engine will not go more than a few kilometers before it's completely damaged. If you see that the radiator is leaking and you can't seal it in any way where you are, wait for help. Secondly, check whether engine oil is leaking. That should be fairly easy because you'll see a large puddle of oil. Again, an engine is not designed to run without oil. Once you notice that your engine oil is leaking and the leak is serious, do not move the car, wait for help. If the leak is a few drops only, maybe it's possible to drive the car a few kilometers to find help with it. But if you see that your engine oil, there's a large pool of oil somewhere on the road or on the side of the road where you've parked, then it's probably not a good idea to drive that car. Now, the third thing you need to check is whether your car wheels are free to turn. Usually when cars have, when there has been an impact on a car, the plastic coverings under the wheels tend to come off because of the impact, and they could be in touch with the wheels. This could also be the case with some of the metallic parts or fiber body parts on the car. So what you need to do is check whether or not the wheels of the car are free to turn. So get into the car and turn the steering to the left and to the right. Check whether they are free to move. And even after doing that, if you start moving it, at first move very slowly and listen to any sounds the wheels might be making if they're in contact with the body of the car. Then check for cracks on all the windows of the car. It's especially important to check the windshield, that's the glass in front of the car, because if it has cracks, it could limit your visibility. Usually it's designed to come off as one piece in case of impact. But if it's too cracked and you're not able to see through it, then maybe it's not a good idea to drive the car. Then also check the passenger seats and the rear seats, see whether any of them, and the rear mirror, see whether any of them are broken, and if they are, take measures to make sure that it's safe before you move on with the car. The fifth thing you need to do is to confirm whether your power steering is working. Modern cars, and by modern I mean from 2000 onwards, most cars came with power steering, and right now there is no car on the road that doesn't have power steering. Now, if you lose either power steering fluid or there's a damage to your power steering system, the car gets very, very heavy and it becomes extremely difficult to control. One day, try turning the wheel of your car without turning on the engine and you will be able to tell the difference. Now, imagine driving that car in that condition down the highway. So it's probably not a good idea to drive a car whose power steering is not working, especially after an accident, because you may not be able to control the car if you start moving it. The other thing you need to check is whether your brake fluid is okay. Open the bonnet and check whether the fluid levels are fine. Out of all the things I've said, maybe the most serious one is driving a car that doesn't have brake fluid. That is essentially a car that cannot stop in case you need to stop for anything. And even if you did need to stop, the car still won't stop. So watch the brake fluid levels, check whether the levels are okay, check for any leaks before you leave that scene where you hit the zebra. Then apart from that, also check whether all the belts in the engine, the external belts, we're talking about the serpentine belts, the fan belt, whether they're all okay. Some of those belts, one of those belts runs the alternator of the car, and if it's broken, it means your car will not be having a source of energy. It could start, it could move, but before long it's going to shut down once the battery is drained. So in case any of those belts is messed up, then we also would recommend that you do not drive the car, but it could take you maybe a few kilometers if you need to get out of a dangerous place. The other important thing you need to note is if your car is hit, say, from the side and the doors are jammed, the doors are folded inwards, don't try to open them. Leave that to the mechanics. If you open a door that is jammed after an accident, you may end up not being able to close it, and that will make driving the car twice as dangerous as it was the first time. So if the car is mangled, the bonnet, the backside or the sides, and the doors are jammed, use a door that is not messed with, and the beauty is accidents usually come from one direction, so it's likely that not all the doors will be jammed. Use any other door except the one that has been folded, because once it's folded, the excess energy from the accident is folded up into those metallic bits of the door or the bonnet. So if you open it, you release that energy, and you will need the same force to get it back into the position it was earlier. So don't struggle to open them. Leave that for the mechanics. Just drive the car as it is to where it's going. Then the last thing is drive slowly to the nearest populated area. We know that if you're out there in a road trip, you could be in the middle of a forest, in the middle of a farm, it's always safer if you can get your car to the nearest populated area. If you're out on the highways, we would recommend finding a petrol station nearby, then asking for help from that particular place and waiting for help while there. Otherwise, we hope you will have very safe road trips as you go driving around the country. Thank you so much.